We're here at the 2012 NCAA Football Championships, the round of 16 today in Geneva, New York at Hobart College at Boswell Field. Today, the Hobart Statesmen pick up a win over the Wittenberg Tigers 35-10. I'm joined by Wittenberg Sports Information Director Ryan Maurer, who called today's game. And Ryan, first of all, just your thoughts on how you felt the game played out today.
You know, as a contrast in styles today, we had a team that really likes to throw the ball and a team that really likes to pound it on the ground. We had terrible weather conditions for the team that wants to throw the ball, and it really, in a lot of ways, played out over the course of the game the way you might expect.
A snowy, cold, windy day here at Boswell Field. Hobart's defense did a very good job limiting the Tigers today, just 135 yards of offense, an offense that had come in to today's game that had only been held under 300 yards just twice all season. What did you think Hobart's defense did that was impressive to you today?
You know, they did a number of things that were impressive. To me, the biggest thing was that their defensive line controlled the line of scrimmage, not just in the running game where the Wittenberg Tigers were missing their top two tailbacks, but in the passing game. Reed Florence, the quarterback for Wittenberg, hurt Heidelberg a lot last week with his legs, not just his throwing where he threw for 346 yards, but in his scrambles, several times scrambling for big gains and scrambling to create space then to throw touchdown passes. Today he was bottled up all day long, had a key turnover deep in Wittenberg territory in the third quarter when the score was only 14-10. Made a big difference, and in the end, Wittenberg eventually was trying to push that boulder uphill. Once they got down, Hobart's rushing attack really took over.
You know, Ryan, we talked coming into today's game that the Statesmen's ground game had been something they had leaned heavily on coming into today, and Wittenberg's defense did good early on in the first half, but they really sort of asserted their dominance, did the Statesmen. Brad Doherty and Stephen Webb showed up as advertised, 215 yards between the two of them of the 286 on the ground, each of them scoring a touchdown. Their ground game was impressive, especially their late.
Well, most of them came in the second half. In the fourth quarter, really, was where a big number of them came. Once Wittenberg had really, their defense had been on the field a lot in that second half. They were, a couple of turnovers led to them having to reload multiple times on defense and eventually couldn't come up with those stops. So obviously give credit where credit's due. The offensive line for Hobart did a tremendous job, really as advertised in that respect. And Hobart now moves on to likely face a team in St. Thomas that is the number one seed in this bracket.
Well, you mentioned with the win, Hobart moves on to the national quarterfinals for the first time in their history. And as you mentioned, they will play the winner of St. Thomas and Elmhurst, who are in the middle of action today. St. Thomas currently winning 24-17. Time of possession, another big stat. Hobart held on the ball for nearly 40 minutes, and as you said, really you could see that in the second half as they started to grind down that Wittenberg Tiger defense.
Wittenberg head coach Joe Fincham was made a point of saying after the game that he was proud of his defense. He was proud of the effort. He was proud of the way that they hung in there and fought back and battled. Eventually, it was just, as I said, a boulder pushing a boulder uphill. You just, at some point, you get worn down. And the Tigers, nothing to hang their heads about. I mean, this is a team that was not picked to win the conference. Kind of slid in the back door after some tiebreaker criteria put them in. Then they showed up with a great finish last week to beat a very good Heidelberg team. Here, kind of ran out of steam. A lot of injuries, really depleted the depth. The Wittenberg Tigers, most of their all-conference players are juniors. The Wittenberg Tigers will look forward to coming back. And like as I said, Hobart taking that rushing attack on the road possibly next week. This is a team that's built for November, and maybe this is a Hobart team that can get that done.
Well, they always say running the ball in defense packs well and plays in any condition, and that certainly showed today in front of nearly 900 fans here at Boswell Field in Geneva, New York. Hobart defeats Wittenberg 35-10 in the round of 16, the 2012 NCAA Division III football tournament. For Ryan Maurer, I'm Russell Kramer, and hopefully you'll see this report on D3Football.com.